morning. Today is day 57 and I hiked out of the Beach Hill hostel at like 9, a little before 9 this morning. Oops. And now I'm not really sure where I'm gonna go. There's a hostel that's like, not hostel, a shelter in like 17 or 18 miles that I might do because there's a possibility of like storms, thunderstorms and rain, wind and rain, but I'm gonna see if I get there. If not, there's tent sites everywhere. I can just stop, or I might go a little farther if it's early when I get there. But I have a pretty heavy backpack heading out of town because I'm not sure if I'm gonna go into Glasgow or wait and go to Buena Vista. So I have enough food to get me to Buena Vista. So my pack's pretty heavy, but it's a nice day and I feel well rested after my sort of 0 day yesterday. I've gone about 3.5 miles and it's just been a nice like steady climb, not super steep and not super rocky. So it's been good. I'm almost to the top of the climb too, and then be downhill for a bit. But so in Daleville I kind of lost the group that I was hiking with because we lost Sketchy Tuna left like a little bit before Daleville, and then I've been hiking with Ellie since Damascus, and I met her even before that, but I think I hiked with her every day since Damascus. So I'm kind of like out on my own again, which is nice. I like being able to like make my own decisions and whatever. Not that I couldn't do that when I was with people, so I definitely could, but it's definitely a different feeling when you kind of like set out alone again. But there's a lot of people that hiked out of the hostels at or the hotels, and they're not, I don't know all of them, but I've heard of them from other people. So it's like the trail's definitely more full now than it was when I left like Hot Springs and there was no one. So it's not like I'm gonna be alone. I'm probably gonna go to like a shelter or near a shelter tonight, so I'll definitely probably see some people. It's just different. Alright, I'm about to stop for lunch in like 2.6 miles at the Wilson's Creek shelter, I think is my plan. But there's a little like water crossing a little before that, so I'm gonna grab water there and then take it to the shelter because the water at the shelter is like 0.2 off trail. But I just saw a huge black snake like go across the trail really fast and then go into the woods, and it looked like it was like hunting something. It was crazy. It's kind of scary. I'm not a big fan of snakes. I actually like really don't like them. So with the weather getting warmer, I see like kind of multiple snakes every day, which I don't really like, but it's okay. It's all part of it. So I'm hoping I see so many I just get kind of desensitized and I'm not quite as scared. I don't know. I just ran into Big T backpacking southbound again. I knew I was going to see him today, I just didn't know when. So it was good to see someone I knew, and I hiked with him for a bit. So it was like, I mean like not today, but like I've hiked with him other days. And I think I'll probably run into him tomorrow or the next day or something because he'll be getting back on. So it'll be good to see more familiar people. But I don't know where I'm going tonight because the shelter that's like make it a 17 or 18 mile day is, apparently there's like not really good tenting there. But sometimes they say that and there's perfect tent sites. So I don't know. But I want to go there because of the storm. But like I'd rather go to this tent site that's like, make it like a 20-ish mile day, but it's at the very top of like a peak. Well, it's not even a big peak, but it's still like the highest thing kind of in the area, and so I don't really want to be on top. And I don't want to like get there and it be like sketchy, and I think the storms are supposed to start kind of like around like 7 or 8 o'clock. So if I go to the shelter, I'd probably get there before the storms. So I'll probably do the shelter, especially because I think a lot of people are going there, but I might not be able to fit in the shelter, and I don't really want to be in it anyway, like this tent. So I'm hoping there's like tent sites there that like it just doesn't say, but like there are. I don't know. There's a big black snake over there. You probably can't see it on here, but I turned around and ran back. It's not even on the trail, it's literally on the side, but it stuck its tongue out at me. And now I'm scared. So I ran back over here, but I don't think it's gonna move. It's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to get across. I'll probably just run across and scream. Terrifying. This is the Wilson Creek shelter. I stopped here for lunch break. When I got here, there's like 5 or 6 of the people here having lunch that were, well, not all of them, but some of the people that were at the hostel last night. But for lunch, I had a really fancy lunch. I had tortillas with hummus that I packed out. And then I also had leftover like veggie chicken nuggets from last night. And so I put those on the tortillas with the hummus. It was really good. And I had little like Hostess cherry pies. It just started raining, so I stopped for a second to throw my pack cover on. It's too hot to wear a rain jacket, so I think I'm just gonna get wet. But now I'm gonna put my phone away because I don't want it to get wet. I'm at the part of the AT that keeps crisscrossing back and over the Blue Ridge Parkway. But what's nice is that there's trash cans almost all these little parking lots. See? And there's good views at the mall. It's just sometimes being by roads kind of freaks me out, but I'm with kind of near some people that I'm sort of hiking with, and so makes me feel like a little better. But this road, it's like people drive by real fast. It's not like those remote gravel roads where it's like people just sit there and it's like scary. So I didn't even go down and look at the shelter to see if anyone was there because it was like a quarter-mile off trail and it was like before 5 o'clock when I got there. So I just am moving on to the next tent site. But I know some other people that are gonna have theirs, so I won't be alone. But even if I am, it'll be okay. Right now I'm at the Peaks of Otter though. Looks so pointy. And there's this sign. Look at all that too. There aren't a ton of cars on this road, but I think when we get close to like the Shenandoahs, I feel like there'll be more traffic on it. I don't really know. I don't know how much traffic this road gets, but it has nice views. And we'll pull up areas with signs and trash cans. Now they just need to add bathrooms. The trash cans, but it's hard to get the stuff in them because it's like the bear-proof type ones, and like when you put it on there, the wind just like blows it before you get it shut. So I had to go like chase my Pop-Tart wrapper like across the street and then come back and get it. But I'm like less than 3 miles from the campsite. I'm gonna stop and get water and then head there. I'll probably get there around like 7-ish maybe. I don't know, it's a good day. I didn't start hiking till like 9. So it's been like pretty easy terrain. Only taken a couple of breaks. And I had a lunch break and stuff too, but it's been good. I haven't seen any snakes since this morning. I hope it stays that way. Good morning, today is day 58. I stayed at like a tent site last night that ended up being like over a 21-mile day, which I didn't think it was that far, but then I got there and I checked it and it was. My plan today is there's a shelter that would make it a 19.9-mile day, so basically a 20. I kind of want to go there, but if I get there like super early I might keep going, but I don't really see that I will. I'm leaving camp this morning at like 7:25ish, which is pretty early. It's supposed to be a nice day, but there's a lot of elevation gain, so I'm just gonna see how it goes. Also, it did kind of end up storming last night, but it wasn't bad. It was like raining and windy, and there was lightning, but it like thunder and lightning, but it was pretty far away. So I was fine in my tent to stay dry. My tent was mostly dry this morning too. I don't think it rained too much, and all the rain was earlier in the night, so it kind of like dried up by morning. And I had like no condensation, which is good. I think the wind and being up high helped with that. But where I'm going today, it's almost 6,000 feet of elevation gain. But like, I didn't really look at where those climbs will be. So Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's more just like a steady uphill, because that's how it was yesterday. And like steady uphills, no rocks, even if it's like twice the elevation gain, is so much easier than a smaller climb that's like steep with rocks. So. I stopped back there and took like a morning break about like 3 miles into my hike at the shelter. No one was there, everyone had left. According to the log, only one person was there last night, but I think there's probably more. It's just not everyone signs the logs. But took a little snack break. There's no water at the shelter, but there's water up here I might grab. And like took off my jacket. But I've started signing the logs, like I signed that one and said I took like a morning break or whatever. Just because I like, lately I'm kind of trying to figure out like where people are at and like catch up to like a group or something. So, I don't know, I feel like if I sign logs maybe people will see and like people that are behind me will try to catch me, I don't know. I really wish I had like a solid hiking partner. Like, I really liked hiking with Ellie, but I mean she's gone. But I learned so much from her. She was just like real nice and chill, and we could like do our own thing during the day and kind of meet up places, or sometimes we'd hike together. And that's kind of, and I feel like we both kind of hike the same mileage. Like I think she definitely pushed me, but now I kind of like the miles that we were doing and I want to keep doing them. So I gotta find someone else. But I'm happy today because it's not super sunny, so I'm not getting all like hot or burned. I mean, I put sunscreen on this morning, but hopefully I don't have to reapply it because it's pretty cloudy, which is nice. Today for lunch at the Bryan Ridge shelter, I have hummus and tortillas. I'm gonna finish up this hummus because I don't know how long it can last unrefrigerated, even though it was pretty chilly last night. And then I also am gonna have these dried pineapple rings that were on the clearance rack at Kroger for only $1.25, like that. This is the Bryan Ridge shelter and it's huge. It's probably the nicest shelter I've seen on the AT. There's like this giant porch, which honestly you could sleep under this. It's more protected than most of the shelters. And then there's like all these benches and little tables and stuff. There's a picnic table, fire pit. Come up here, there's this whole big L sleeping platform. It's bigger than most shelters. And then there's a loft too with like an actual ladder. Hold on, it's hard to get up. The loft is giant. And there's like actually railing and stuff on the loft. And there's like some tent sites, not like a ton. You could still set up your tent if you wanted to. It's pretty cool. And a lot of hooks. I'll leave the shelter though and head up. I'm like another 10 miles. I'm gonna do today to get to that Thunder Hill shelter, I think is what it's called. But it's like all the climbing I have today is all in the second half, like right now. I think I did like only 2,000 feet this morning and I have to do like 4,000 something feet of elevation gain. It's all that like Apple Orchard Mountain, and then the shelter's just like a mile past that, like kind of down a little bit. So yeah, it's okay though, it's not too hot. And sometimes climbing feels better than going down, like because it doesn't hurt like the pounding, so it could be good. I'm up at the Black Rock Overlook, which was like a little side trail. It wasn't real far though. It's gorgeous. And point 2 from the top of Apple Orchard Mountain. And that pretty much would complete the end of the insane amount of climbing today. None of it's been like super steep. Some of it is, but it's just a lot. Right, I am at the top pretty much. There's a giant water tower up here, which I had seen this from like way on a different mountain, but I didn't know that this was it. It's pretty cool. You can see really far. Look over there. It's crazy. This would be a really cool place to camp if it wasn't super windy. Are you gonna go on top of it? I'm at the guillotine.